for our beautiful, sexy Peyton. Peyton is so sexy. Peyton is so hot and so sexy. Peyton is so unbelievably hot and sexy. We are going to look at the free agent track. Let's do this. We'll start out.
We could do
the free agent moves thus far.
The hot.
Rudy, what we're gonna do is, like you said, you've got FanGraphs pulled up, right? Do you have their big board pulled up with like if they've signed or not?
I did, and then my browser crashed. So let me pull it back up.
So let's just do it that way because we've got like a decent. I'm gonna source by median total of the crowdsourcing, so that way we can just start with Dylan Cease and kind of work our way down. Or I guess we can start with Murakami. I will relay Shane's thoughts, which are coincidentally also my thoughts about Murakami. I think this is a home run for the Sox. I think this is an absolute home run signing. I think it's fair to have concerns about the profile. I think it's fair to have concerns about what the ceiling could be. But especially if you're Chicago, and we'll get into this a little bit later with how the draft lottery went for them. They landed an absolute golden ticket kind of prospect. So I don't know. I'm really excited. If you go and you look at that White Sox lineup, it's dudes you've heard of, like Benintendi being maybe their 7th best hitter, like that. This is progress. Like I think that this lineup really has something. On the pitching side, they've got a lot of interesting pieces. We'll see how that comes to fruition at the major league level right now. But I really like the back end of their bullpen too. I think Grant Taylor is a phenomenal guy to maybe close out the 9th and could maybe be on that Crochet, Chris Sale kind of track.
I don't know if I'm ready to give up on Taylor as a starter.
Neither am I. But that's what I mean. Like at least for this year, you're probably going to have a dynamite guy in the 9th inning, or at least in like high leverage to kind of win you some games you maybe otherwise wouldn't if you just had signed. No disrespect to Cody Hoyer, but I saw that the Guardians just gave him another contract. So, if you just filled it with a guy that's done it before versus a young cat like this, I really like this move for the Sox. I don't know about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
2 for 34 for those of you that are unaware. 2 for 34. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like the ultimate like low risk, high reward because like either he sucks and you only have him for 2 years, so you're not like risking much, and it's not like the White Sox are investing that money elsewhere. And it's a guy who has a ceiling as high as anybody in baseball because he has potentially 80 grade power as a 25-year-old. And like best case scenario, he's awesome. He goes 30-100 this year, and then you trade him either this coming off season or next year's deadline.
So this is where I want to push back a little bit, Drew. I think there's a world in which he's not just a trade piece, because if you look at the Sox lineup, how it's improving, the farm is really good. Look again, we'll talk about the prospect out of UCLA. Like if they keep improving, I think he's a worthwhile extension candidate because he's already said yes to them once. He had to say yes. I just wonder,
do you say like we're going to trade you for assets and then we're going to try and re-sign you in the offseason?
Yeah. So I think
because he's also a Boris guy, like he's probably not going to sign an extension.
Is he a Boris guy or is he? I thought he had the same agent as.
Oh no, Okamoto and Imai are both. Okamoto and Imai are Boris guys.
So if I remember correctly, Murakami's agent represents Benintendi. It's the same group. That to me is like I see the connection and clearly, we can malaise Andrew Benintendi all we want, but he was solid last year, and I don't know. He seems like a decent guy. Like he seems like a guy that likes being on the south side of Chicago at least, and likes being on the White Sox. And if he's talking nice enough to get Murakami to say yes, I don't know. I think there's a lot of momentum on the south side right now. I think the lottery was a big help. I think Murakami was a big help. The ownership group changing over. There's some positive. I know Rudy hates to hear that as a Cubs and Royals fan, but I think there's some positive momentum right now going on 35th.
I think the thing that's most disappointing to me about the AL Central right now is the fact that the Twins don't seem like at least they're going to sell off Buxton and Joe Ryan this winter. Like you sold off so much at the deadline, and you're probably going to be either second to last or last in the AL Central. Around the Chicago
and the AL
White
Central
Sox.
produced how many playoff teams? Let's relax on that division. All right, come on.
1.
Incorrect.
Oh, it was 2. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot the
teams,
Guardians.
Multiple playoff teams in back-to-back years. A lot of divisions can't claim them. All right, let's settle down.
Wow,
on
the
Central.
AL West is so bad that they can't produce a second
Exactly,
team good enough
dude.
to get
That's
a
exactly
wild
what
card
it is.
spot.
By the way, let me fix that for you. The most disappointing thing about the Twins is that they have chosen not to sell off the team this offseason.
That's
That
also
too.
true.
I mean, their ownership group is just disgusting.
Obligatory
they're
because I've bought a lot of stock in him. Obligatory Kalen Culpepper push, though. That guy is going to be very valuable for the Twins in real life. I'm excited for him. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of great momentum with Murakami. I think the Sox they are operating how they should be. They seem to be operating with, I don't know, like urgency and care. Those are terms I'm going to use to describe another organization that is very near and dear to my heart once we get to them in a little bit here.
So,
but yeah.
By the way, remind me, is Murakami the guy who explicitly said he did not want to be on a team that already had Japanese players?
No,
Okay.
that's Imai. That's Imai.
Oh, it was Imai. You're right.
It was Imai.
Okay.
So where's he going? No, we'll get to him. We'll get to him in a sec. We got to do who's already signed.
Chicago.
We got to do not Chicago. Yeah. And well, we're going to apparently, Lars Nootbaar is only half Japanese. So I think that counts. That's enough. If anyone asks your middle name
I've heard
is now.
that Imai prefers a coastal team. Like he would want to go coastal.
It's right on the coast of the Mississippi River. I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh yeah.
It's
big ocean Mississippi River.
Beautiful body of water. Our most important body of water in this country, by the way. So you settle down on that.
I'm gonna be sick when he signs for the coastal to Lake Michigan Milwaukee Brewers.
You think the Milwaukee Brewers are giving a guy like a
it's
5-year,
almost Christmas.
$120 million
Hanukkah
contract?
just ended. This is a positive space only. All right, don't put that negative energy into the world.
I'm going to be negative about that idea because the Brewers are never going to give him any money.
when the Brewers hypnotize him and convince him to sign for 4 for $40.
Well, really, I'm just also digging up really like old ancient history Diamond Digest debates with that one too.
Peyton's gonna have a good time with that one. All right,
Yeah.
Number 2 on the big board. For those of we're not uploading this in long form. Peyton, don't do that. We're shaking the rust off here. This is a clip only. This is a clip only recording session today. Also, because I don't want the viewers. I don't want to subject Rudy to people.
Yeah,
I
don't
want people to be like, is that guy just
that
eating
long.
for the first 15 minutes of you guys talking? No, he would never. Dylan Cease to the Blue Jays. I think most people assumed he would get around what he got. I think the 7th year is kind of what pushed the chips in.
I thought it would be around this money, but it would be 6 years.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, 27 AAV is, I believe, the number when you include the how it can get watered down a little bit.
Yeah, the taxes.
I love this for the Jays. I was absolutely
move.
devastated for him for the World Series.
I was not.
I
was
Drew's opinion aside. Drew's biased opinion aside, I think the Blue Jays are as a team constructed in a very fun way where they have a lot of boomer friendly guys and a lot of new age friendly guys in the lineup. Like, you got some guys where it's like, I'm just going to hit 300, man. And that's just what I'm going to do. And I don't know.
Ernie Clement hitting 600 in the playoffs.
Correct. They're
Fuck
just
that guy.
They're just.
I hate Ernie Clement so much.
And Ernie Clement, if you're watching this, king. You're a king in my book. I love you, Ernie.
God,
I really like how they've constructed their lineup. I think they're being really aggressive in free agency, which is great. I also saw a report today. They are one of the finalists for Bregman. And I think that is really smart. They have the money. Part of me thinks that they're going to sign an infielder, and it's either just going to be Bichette coming back or Bregman. Yeah, I'm excited for them because I think they were a bit of a sleeping dragon financially, where I think that they have always kind of had the money and they were waiting for it to be clear that they had a window, or at least the window was like for sure open. Yeah, when you got Vlad Jr., the window is always open, but I mean open for a ring, not just open for a trip to the playoffs. So I don't know. I think that the sleeping dragon's kind of woken up in Toronto a little bit, and we can joke about them getting second place all we want, but they just got first place, and maybe that's kind of all it takes. And also, I will say, we made those jokes about them getting second place, but like they got Springer, they got Gossman, and like I don't think they're regretting.
I mean, they
those deals.
mega overpaid Springer. Like in terms of his market value that year, they gave him so.
I mean, they
much money.
got Gossman for I thought was maybe
Gossman was like market value.
Yeah, I don't think the Gossman
Springer.
deal they crushed. They crushed the Gossman deal.
Yeah,
that's been worth every penny.
100%. But yeah. I think saying
the Springer
like,
one has too though, because when they needed him most
last year, obviously, 2025 you can't complain about what
for sure.
Produced,
and also,
how much he's being paid. But like
Drew,
you also have to consider 2024 and 2023 he produced.
Drew, I know you and I have talked about this offline too, but like it's cheap to do the like, well, obviously that contract wasn't going to work out in the end. They never do. There has never been a contract where in year 7, in year 8, you're like, man, I'm really glad we're paying this guy $30 million. Like you pay for that first 4 to 5 years and you're kind of hoping maybe he's got a little something left for that playoff push in the last couple of years. And that's exactly what George Springer gave them. So yeah, I commend him for it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Stanton deal, where it's like he's probably overpaid. Like that's not really a question, but he's a fucking playoff.
I was going to say Stanton being a playoff riser, I think is certainly very, very helpful in making that feel nice. I think it makes it feel quite nice.
And I feel like it's less of a pain when Stanton, when he's not producing, isn't eating up a roster spot. Because he's either going to be producing or he's on the IL. And then you can put somebody else in that spot. You're never having a moment with Stanton where you're like, this guy's washed. He can't play anymore. He's done. Like there was some time in like 2022 and the first half of 23, but like the last 2 years, Stanton has been like on the IL for like 30 to 40% of the year, and then very productive for the rest of the year, and then crushes it in the playoffs.
Speaking of playoff risers, Kyle Schwarber back to Philadelphia, 5 for $150. Allegedly, the Orioles made the exact same offer, and he chose to head back to the city of brotherly love. I commend the Phillies for running it back. Obviously, this is a Dombrowski-ran ball club. We should have known. I remember there being some speculation at the start of the offseason of like, would they run it back with the vets? And I was like, are you people out of your mind? Of course they will. I don't know. I speaking of teams with a window that's open, they feel like the Blue Jays to me, but just like they're a little bit older, which is kind of
I think it is very dependent on if Zach Wheeler can be Zach Wheeler again.
Well, and it's also an even year for Aaron Nola. So, like Cy Young finalist incoming. Like, I know it's like a funny joke to make. And I might have been Rates and Barrels that was talking about this, where they said, yeah, like we can joke about like every other year sample sizes when it's been like 2 years or 3 years of like good and bad. But they're like, Aaron Nola has a decade of this. And at a certain point, we just have to say like, he actually is this person. He actually is this like Jekyll and Hyde outlier dude. And so, yeah, it depends on how they're going to backfill the rotation. I thought they were a candidate to acquire Sonny Gray. I'm a little surprised they didn't go get him, to be entirely honest with you. But
he would be a really bad fit for their park, though.
I think he's a bad fit for the park in Boston. We'll talk about that in a second. But
well, yeah, but like I think he'd be.
It's grown adult on an expiring contract that like you would feasibly start in Game 3 of a playoff series. Like, if you're the Phillies.
I mean, I think the Phillies will just end up bringing back Ranger, like, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, doing the Schwarber thing kind of leans me that way. I think they're going to bring back JT as well. Like, someone has to catch for them.
Oh, yeah. They don't have the money to make any more, like, splash moves. I think they're going to bring back Ranger and bring back JT and call it a day. Maybe they'll trade for a reliever or two, but I think they're at like $308 million on their payroll, and they have no catcher and like 3.5 starters.
Well, and Rudy, I'd ask you though. I mean, like, if I told you 3 months ago, hey, the Phillies are going to make they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to drop to the Dodgers. We'll say you don't know what round. They're going to lose to the Dodgers in the playoffs, and they're just going to run back the whole roster. Would you be like, oh, and they're going to get rid of Castellanos? Would you be like, bad offseason? Like, I feel like to me they checked off what they needed to.
Yeah, I would say so. And I
Yeah.
mean, they're like my bigger question with this roster, I feel like for the last several years that we've kind of had this similar iteration of the Phillies is not really like, is the offensive talent there? Well, there's two questions. It's like, how does your pitching shape up over the course of a season? Because obviously you've got a lot of pitching talent, but there have been several guys who are kind of up and down. And of course the bullpen is going to be the most volatile part of that. And then defensively, I feel like this is a squad that has really gotten a reputation for being shaky. So I don't know, like pitching wise, obviously they've had a couple of guys who like last year sort of rose up and helped boost them in a way when you're typical guys that you would expect like Nola and even Zach Wheeler were not like carrying the load quite as much. And I don't know, like getting rid of one of the worst outfield defenders in the league can't hurt. Especially
That's what I mean. People are saying like, oh, Adolis
Yeah.
is washed. He might be done as a hitter. I'm like, I don't think you understand. They just improved their outfield OAA by like 20. Like
Yeah,
they also probably improved the offense a little bit.
Yeah, like even if the offensive output is marginally better, I'm like, I don't think you understand what 20 outs above average does for an outfield.
Yeah,
like
you added like 4 WAR.
Yeah, that's like taking a league average center fielder and just throwing Victor Scott there. Like that's the jump that they just made, and I don't think that's going to be
nothing
like a non-factor.
Right.
Yeah.
And in a lineup that at this point has had 3 designated hitter prototypes, basically between Castellanos, Schwarber, and Bryce Harper at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, that results in you putting Castellanos out there to play such bad defense. Like, just and he's not hitting. So you cut the worst hitter of those 3. You're probably due for some improvement.
Yeah, you cut the worst hitter of the 3 by a wide margin. Like didn't. That was not a tough call. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it's I thought 10 mil was a little steep for Adolis. I've had off-camera conversations about Adolis where I was like, man, if I was like the White Sox, I would throw him like 1 for 5, like to play right field. I thought he was in that territory. I did not know he was in guaranteed starting job, double-digit million money. So
I mean, I think that's just kind of shows how insane the market is right now, where it's like these starting caliber players are getting like 15, like solid starting caliber players are getting $15 to $18 million.
Yeah.
And like, that's another thing that like pissed me off about people's reaction to like Trent Grisham accepting the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
And it's
he's
like,
worth it.
Oh no, my center fielder who's an average defender and had 34 home runs and a 125 WRC plus last year is making $22 million.
Yeah. Not the we'll talk a little bit later about a team who was negatively surprised organizationally. Someone took the QO that I am rubbing my hands together with glee about. Pete Alonso to Baltimore. I'm kind of rubbing my hands with glee in a nice way. I'm happy for Alonso. He bet on himself a couple off seasons in a row. I'm glad to see it paid off for him. Man, more than a couple. It was 3 off seasons in a row because he turned down the extension in 23, hardballed in 24, got paid in 25. Good for him. He seems really bought in with Baltimore as well. They've been putting out some nice videos on socials. A bit of a confusing move from the Orioles. We could talk about that. But at the end of the day, can you really hem and haw a guy that's going to hit 40 home runs? I don't know if you can.
Wait, what do you mean confusing move? They have the best lineup in baseball now.
Their number one starting pitcher.
We can talk about that. But
you guys did see that, right? You're not like
I did see. I saw exactly what you're referring to. I mean, I like it a lot, to be clear. But it's
a very good move for their lineup.
Yes.
But they still have so many concerns in the rotation that
Well, I think it's also just like when you have so many young guys, like I've had conversations about the Orioles in the past where I've kind of said, I think my big thing for me with them is you need grownups in the lineup when you have all these young dudes, and the grownups can't be all the respect in the world to guys like Orion O'Hearn, good ball players.
Ryan
But
Mountcastle.
they need to be like
Cedric Mullins.
Cedric Mullins, yeah.
Yeah, they need to be guys that people buy jerseys of. That when I said grown adults, they need grown adults that people are buying the jerseys. And Alonso is a grown adult where they're buying the jerseys. And I think that it's a great move for them. They still need to add multiple starting pitchers. Why didn't they trade for Sonny Gray? I know it's like the easy catch-all, but the Cardinals were kind of the only team for a month or so that was like, we will listen to anyone on Sonny Gray. Please come make an offer. And they were
even like
Ryan
we will pay some of his salary to get him off our payroll.
Yeah, we ate a considerable chunk to get the prospect haul. And I don't know. I mean, I keep seeing stuff about Edward Cabrera to Baltimore. I think that's a smart move. I really like the talent.
I would like that.
Need him to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I don't mind a Kyle Bradish and Trevor Rogers at the top.
I think Bradish is great. I think Bradish is great when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And I think Rogers will regress, but I think he'll regress to like a 3-4, 3-5 pitcher.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than you like people saying like, oh, he's not going to regress. He had great underlings. And I'm like, great underlings don't equate to a 2.2 ERA.
Yeah, no. I mean, they do if you're Bob Gibson. But no disrespect to Trevor Rogers.
He doesn't have like 99th percentile great underlines.
Right, exactly.
Right.
He has like 75th percentile great underlines.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, Baltimore's got to go, like, I don't know, man. Like, I know it sounds silly, but I'm like, even if they go get a Zach Gallen type, who like I'm interested in as like
if
a
they
reclamation
signed Frommer,
project.
I think I'd be all in on the Orioles.
Like, I just they just need a grown up that I trust.
Yeah. Like, even if Bradish and Rogers are like the pitchers that you're hoping for them to be, like that's best case scenario, and you're still running back the same outcome that's been kind of your problem for the last couple of years, where you're putting too much stock in like one or two guys at the top of your rotation. I mean, like 2 years ago, you have Corbin Burns, great, awesome. You need rotation depth too, and you need guys that are going to be able to do that consistently. Because then when you go out and you have to win a best of 3 series and you lose your first game with Corbin Burns, what happens?
I really like
your number 3 is Shane Baz. Your number 4 is
I liked the Shane Baz acquisition. His underlying stuff looked really nice. He gets punch outs. He's young. Like there's not a lot of mileage on the arm.
I don't hate the acquisition, but I think it's pretty funny to trade away Grayson Rodriguez and then going to get a guy who is almost as volatile in terms of health.
Well, the difference is that they sort of have an inverse health track record. Baz has spent previous time being injured and is now healthy and just had a great, displayed some good stuff. I know the ERA wasn't pretty, but the tail.
I just think the whole second half was absolute shit.
I also think he's playing in a ballpark that should be condemned. It was just not an appropriate place to be playing Major League Baseball games in. New York Yankees Stadium with Florida humidity is just not, I think, the appropriate place to demonstrate your value as a 25, 26-year-old starting pitcher. Tyler Wells and Dean Kremer are your 4 and your 5.
Can we talk about the Cade Povich or the Shane Baz picture in the Orioles?
Yeah, that was terrifying. Peyton, editor, insert
Rudy,
here.
Look up that picture of his
Shane Baz,
introduction to the Orioles.
Shane Baz, is no disrespect. If I saw you on the mound, I would be intimidated. You cut an imposing figure. I would be nervous to be in the box.
You look like a horror movie doll.
He's an imposing young man in the box.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why the bleached mustache?
He's just that blonde. It's just really bad.
That blonde.
Yeah, it's just he just doesn't have enough facial hair for it to actually look like it's there.
This is no disrespect to Shane Baz.
You either need a lot of facial hair or no facial
does not see this. Shane Baz looks like evil Jake Mintz. Shane Baz looks like evil Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Back to the rotation. I really like Trey Gibson that they have coming up from AAA, but that's just not a guarantee. And with where you're supposed to be at, he should be the guy that comes up if somebody gets hurt, not somebody where I'm
he should be SP8 and he's SP6.
I mean, I think he's going to be like a 4 in the majors when he's ready, and he's getting.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like going into the season, he should be like
exactly. And right now, I feel like Trey Gibson is SP6 for them, and that is a bad look.
Maybe
I wrote my real opinion. I think he's SP4 now. I think he's better than Tyler Wells and Dean Kremer, but
maybe Cade Povich, but like if you're having all those guys in the rotation, your bullpen also has no depth because those guys were in the bullpen last year.
And I like the fact they went out and got Helsley. I like that.
Yeah,
I think
that's a very good signing.
Yeah,
but their bullpen still has no depth because
I will miss Ryan very much. I'd love to have him back in a Cardinal uniform someday.
You'll never see me in a Cardinal uniform.
What'd you say, Rudy?
You'll never see me in a Cardinal uniform.
That's okay. That's all right. No, I just
maybe if he loses a bet.
Every time we talk about Helsley, I go back to the trade deadline when he was talking about being traded and he kept going, it would get us a really good return. He kept using first person talking about the org, and I'm like, oh, that hit me a little bit wrong. I'm like, man, this dude cares so much. Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Speaking of, how about Edwin Díaz to the Dodgers? Sellout. That's all I got to say.
I don't care. Like it's a big move, but I don't care. Like it's Edwin Díaz is a Dodger. Okay, next. Like I feel like it just goes past my mind when the Dodgers sign somebody now.
Well, right. I like with the same story. I feel like with many Dodgers acquisitions over the last 5 years or so, like I care less about what it means for the Dodgers and more about what it means for the team that the guy left. Like what? Like my question more, and this is not only to do with Edwin Díaz, also to do with Pete Alonso, like we've talked about. Like, what are the Mets doing?
Yeah, I have.
This is going to be the first TikTok we're going to make where everyone's going to get mad at me in the comments, but I'm right. This is going to Drew. You're going to love this. I'm going to simultaneously take shots at both the Mets and the Brewers with this commentary. Are we ready?
I'm so ready. I'm seated.
Dave. Yeah. David Stearns doesn't know how to be a GM with money and thinks that he can be cute about everything, and it's going to fuck the Mets over. I understand they signed Juan Soto to the mega deal, but that's also because I know for a fact that you can read Jeff Passan wrote articles about how Soto, when the first time he visited Citi Field, was like enamored and was like, this is like where I'd want to play someday. Like Soto always apparently loved the idea of being a Met and
very clearly Cohen
cut the check and said, I don't care what you say, David Stearns. We can get Juan Soto. Yeah. I want Juan Soto.
Cohen very clearly interceded in the deal and 100%. Actually signed it himself.
And I think David Stearns is very good at his job. However, I think that David Stearns suffers from what I think a lot of GMs suffer from when you operate for
trying to be
John Mozeliak with the Cardinals, where you suffer from smartest guy in the room syndrome, where it's like, I have to be, if we just rebuild that in the aggregate, like I'm doing the Moneyball bit, but like Stearns just wants to do that, where it's like, but if we just do like Goldschmidt, McNeil, and Vientos at first, we'll get the same WAR production as Alonso. And it's like, that's great. That doesn't sell tickets. That doesn't keep the fans happy.
And I mean,
I also think
this was a conversation that I sort of saw a little bit on Reddit the other day and found kind of interesting is like people were talking about how one of the biggest breakdowns in the idea of calculating money or like dollar value per win above replacement is it completely breaks down as you add additional wins above replacement onto a single player. And so it's the same idea where in theory, you can get the same amount of WAR in the aggregate, but having one guy who can reliably put that pretty reliably put that out instead of shuffling between three guys and having to pick the right situations for each guy and also having to roster all three guys. And, at a certain point, you're only going to pay one guy so much money. Like if that guy is like Pete Alonso, as opposed to having to roster like three good players who are all going to make up for what Pete Alonso would do. And you're the Mets.
When it comes to the context of the Díaz situation, I think it's a little bit different. The Díaz situation is a little bit different because they signed Devin Williams and Díaz didn't like that. He didn't appreciate that they didn't at least have the conversation with him. I think there's a little bit more nuance to that. And I think that's more fair.
Yeah, I think not even like talking with Edwin Diaz is like
That's bad.
is embarrassing. Like
And
you
the other thing I want to bring up too is, again, it goes back to Stearns. I think Stearns thinks that he is I'm this special boy and I'm smarter and better than everyone at my job. And it's, well, we don't need Brandon Nimmo. We don't need Edwin Diaz. We don't need P. Alonso. And I'm like, you are changing the foundation of guys that have been in the org for a really long time, that have endeared themselves and entrenched themselves with the fan base. Like, there's a lot of goodwill that those guys can give you, that, like, if Marcus Semien comes out OPS in 640 through Memorial Day, it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter that the up the middle defense is 6 DRS better. Fans aren't going to care about that. And
yeah,
how many more wins in the win column is that really going to give you, where the fans are like, this trade-off was worth it that you got rid of multiple of my favorite players?
I mean, I think this, like, smartest guy in the room syndrome is common across a lot of sports, but it's particularly endemic to baseball.
Absolutely.
I feel like the culture around Moneyball and the idea of being able to do things and put together a team in, like, there aren't a lot of sports or a lot of contexts, I feel like, where you can manage with the disparity in franchise valuation or payroll the same way that some teams have managed to do it in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And the glorification then of the GMs who did that has resulted in context in baseball where every GM is kind of seeking that, like, smartest guy in the room.
Yes.
And that's part of enabling the Dodgers to go throw money at everybody.
Correct.
Because,
yes, Rudy, everybody on Twitter wants their team to win with the 9th best payroll. That's the biggest problem, I think, that fans have with perceptions of, and like, people watching this video, don't get mad at me. I'm also, like, guilty of this. My team has won 11 World Series off, like, the 9th highest payroll. Like, my team is a no pun intended, cardinal offender of exactly what I'm talking about. But, like, every organization, it's like, because once you creep into the top 5, it's, oh, you're pay to win. And then if you're outside the top 10, it's like, oh, it was luck. Oh, it was luck. They didn't deserve it.
I'm kind of the opposite, where it's like, I just want my team to, I would accept my team spending $600 million if it meant we won. Like,
fair.
Like, I want the Yankees to sign Kyle Tucker right now. Like,
well, don't we all? We all want Kyle Tucker on our favorite baseball team.
It's just like the Yankees, I think, have been a little bit too patient this offseason. And I think it might end up working out because, like, the Mets are in talks with the White Sox for Luis Robert, and if they get him, the Cody Bellinger market becomes basically nobody.
Isn't Bellinger waiting on Tucker, though? That's what I have.
Maybe. But, like, if the Mets are out on Robert, who the heck is going to sign Bellinger other than the Yankees? Because nobody wants it.
The Cardinals.
The Phillies are out.
I honest to God, you can throw the Angels in on Bellinger, because I know for a fact that they're interested.
I feel like market comes down enough, I could low key see the Cubs doing it too.
Yeah, to play right. To play right.
I mean, you're not displacing PCA.
Well, no, yeah. I was thinking how you would handle Hap versus.
No, you probably DH. Well, you obviously DH.
Say is going to DH, but I was saying, Rudy, I was talking about how you handle like, would you then move Hap?
No, I think Hap stays in left.
No, I meant off the team, like trade.
You could. I wouldn't like it, but
yeah,
I wouldn't like it from a sentimental perspective. I haven't really thought that much about whether I'd like it from a baseball perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It goes back to this goes back to the point that I've been making about the Mets. Where, like, I don't know. I just think Stearns is really undervaluing. He now is in charge of a team that can afford to retain the homegrown players, and by getting rid of multiple of them, like getting rid of Nimmo, like getting rid of Alonso. Like, I guess they didn't get rid of Díaz, but, like, I kind of did. They kind of got rid of Alonso. Like,
okay, in my eyes, also, at what point does the same that core of guys are very strongly entrenched with the idea of the New York Mets, I think. And at what point does keeping, like, I'm not saying you have to keep all of them or none of them, but at what point does keeping all of them also feel too stale for the fan base, right?
That's a good point too. Yeah, I think it's especially tough to how they treated Alonso for 3 straight off seasons.
Yeah.
Where like the low ball, the like no one wants you, bro, after 2024, which when he single-handedly won them a playoff series, I think we can say that. They were DOA and he won them that. I don't know.
And pretty hilarious now that
when
he signed with the
they
Orioles.
said that, Rudy, they had to show the dugout cam of Alonso hitting the home run because they'd already signed Devin Williams. When they made the Pete Alonso thank you video.
The like tribute video, they showed the home run off Williams, but they didn't show who was pitching.
Yeah, it's the dugout cam. Which I thought was very, honestly though, funny, but respect to them for doing that.
Yeah. I just, like, the Mets are currently going into the season. Like, as of right now, obviously, I think they'll make moves. They have one starting pitcher who I think is, like, reliably good, and it's Nolan McLean, a guy who threw, like, 60 innings in the majors last year.
Are we not going to say Clay Holmes?
I don't trust him to throw more than 120 above average innings.
He threw 160 innings, a 3.5 ball last year.
Yeah, I don't trust him to do it again.
I'm going to say we can trust that for now.
Maybe.
Until I'm proven otherwise.
But like, I don't trust David Peterson.
I trust David Peterson to be a 4. That's what he was.
David Peterson is currently listed as their 1 on the depth chart.
That can't possibly be true. On where?
On roster resource, it's Nolan McLean 1, David Peterson.
That's all right. McLean should be their number 1, though. Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. But Sean Manaea, I don't trust to be healthy. Kodai Senga, I don't trust to be healthy. And then Sproat and Tong, I don't trust to be major league pitchers this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I think McLean, Peterson, and Holmes you can trust. Senga and Manaea, you're just banking on that they were as good as they were supposed to be. So, like, I don't hate it. But and they have the young depth. I don't know where the Mets.
Yeah, but you're the Mets. You have a $25 billion owner, and you're going into the season with like, oh, but we have the guys who have never pitched in the major leagues as depth.
Yeah, I mean, they could always Jose Quintana is the eternal 1 for 12 guy. You know, like that. He could get signed on March 1st, and I would trust Quintana to give me 100 innings, a 4.3 ball, man.
Once again,
like,
you're the fucking Mets. You can't make your
am I wrong, Rudy?
Acquisition Jose Quintana.
Quintana has to keep racking up new teams, though. He's already done them.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. So he's out. He can't. How about the Royals? Do the Royals? Maybe the Royals, after they make another trade, maybe they move on from Bubic. They bring Quintana in. He can pitch for the Royals. 150 innings, 4.2 ERA. 150 innings, 4.2 ERA.
I mean, if getting rid of Bubic,
not getting traded because he is not healthy.
Bubic?
Yeah, I've heard rumors that he's not going to be healthy, like at all.
I've not been up to speed on that one.
I've heard his elbow is cooked for at least this year.
Rudy, there goes the least knowledgeable parts of our fan base suggesting a Bubic for Donovan straight up. You idiots, dude. I'm like, first of all, the Royals would not do that. Like, maybe they would actually, knowing the elbow stuff, but I'm like, the Cardinals are not taking an expiring deal for a guy with 3 years of control left. That's not happening. Yeah. Like,
where does Brendan Donovan play these days? Also, is he right field?
Primarily second base. His best position defensively is third, which is why we'll just do this. We'll just do this segment now. This is not just like cope of like, oh, I don't want my team to trade away a player I really like. The Cardinals actually just should not move Donovan. JJ Weatherholt, from everything inside the organization, intel-wise, it's like he would be an average shortstop, an above-average second baseman, and a below-average third baseman defensively. With the bat, it would be plus at all 3 spots. Knowing that,
maybe average.
I thought you just said he was best at third.
I'm talking about I'm talking about Weatherholt.
Oh, yeah.
So if we know that about Weatherholt, and guys, hot take, I think this Mason Wynn guy is going to make it at shortstop. So that means we're putting Weatherholt at second base.
I don't know if Wynn has the arm to play shortstop.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah.
Justin Turner has a comment on this.
if he was, don't ask Justin Turner about that, by the way. Fucking fat bum. God, I hate that. That quote is so bad. You're never going to need to throw hard from shortstop. What are you talking about? Whatever. He's a moron. Whatever. I need to stop. I need to let that go. Anyway, you're going to put Weatherholt at second base. Wynn's going to stick at shortstop. Arenado is, we're sending him upstate to the farm.
We're sending him
or Anaheim,
to the
Angels. Or Anaheim, as it's otherwise known as. All my love in my heart to that guy, but it's over. So we don't have someone in our prospect system that I think can stick at third base long term. Daniil Ortiz is an interesting guy. I think he's more of a first baseman, and he also was like doing that at high A. He's a young guy. So I'm like, if we don't have a guy that can play third base, Donovan's 28 years old and has 3 years left. Like someone has to do it.
Yep.
And I would rather just keep him at third and roll out an infield next year, left to right, of Donovan, Wynn, Weatherholt, Burleson, and Herrera catching. Like, I think we're in a good spot there. I think that's a good infield for the long term. I really do.
I was going to say if there's one position, but if there's two positions where the Royals don't need help, it's shortstop and then third base.
Correct. And like
Considering
Donovan can play second, third, short, or corner outfield, but like with the moves that you guys made, I don't know.
Because the Royals need outfield help. If the Royals are getting position players, they need outfield help, and it's why they're so intent on Jarren Duran. But like
and Donovan can like moonlight in left or right, but it's infield where you're maximizing value, and I don't see that need with Kansas City at all.
Right.
Speaking of Kings, Michael King, Padres 3 for 75. It's the Padres. I don't know if I have a take outside of this. It's
a great deal for King.
I agree. Opt-outs after the first and the second year.
The Padres are the only team who can offer this. They're the only team who doesn't give a draft.
I don't think he's going to opt out after 26. I think he'll opt out after 27, though.
That wouldn't shock me.
Guaranteed money going into what is certainly going to be a lockout is, I think, better than the prospect of being a free agent.
That's fair. I just think nobody can offer this deal other than the Padres, because the qualifying offer basically puts you in like a dead zone if you offer this contract if you're not the Padres.
Yeah, true.
Like giving up draft picks to get potentially 1 year of a good pitcher who is coming into the season with an injury, who missed most of last year with said injury, and isn't guaranteed to be ready for opening day. Like, nobody can offer that other than the Padres.
Very true. Still gave a great 75 innings or whatever it was when he was healthy.
Yeah. Like, I have no problem with the Padres giving this contract, but I think if the Padres are willing to give this contract, nobody else can match it.
Very true.
And that's why he's back.
Man, they still have 3 years left of Yu Darvish under contract.
Yeah.
And he's out for this entire season.
He's not going to play again. They're going to do a Chris Davis thing with him, I think, because he was just giving an interview recently talking about like he's going to go through another surgery, and he basically worded it as like I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically was like, we're going to see if I'm good to go again. And he meant good to go again, like, period.
Yeah.
So I would not be shocked if they have some sort of Chris Davis thing where he becomes like a Chris Davis Ichiro combination thing where like he's an instructor for spring training and like part of the organization, and they just sort of
being paid $30 million a year.
Well, yeah, but they're gonna make it. You're gonna make $3 million a year for the next 25 years or whatever for us.
Bobby Bonilla.
Yes.
His AAV is 18 million, by the way, not 30.
Yeah. So you could, so that's what, 54 total left. Yeah. Just
54 left.
And he ends at like age 42.
Yeah. Just make
$3
that
for 18 years instead of 18 million for
$3 million. Yeah. Something like that. And you just keep, you do it that way. And you keep him in the org. Cause I think he provides a lot of value. Like there's a reason they were willing to pay him that much and for that long. Part of that's because they're the Padres, but I think it's also because the value he brings to the clubhouse, the organization. So it would not shock me if they have some sort of agreement where he's at spring training and, they're at family weekend and kind of does the Ichiro kind of personal services type contract thing.
And there's
did
no
you
like
see the Michael Garcia extension?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And
fun,
it's like
fun
okay,
player. I like Mikel Garcia.
Yeah,
Fun
I think
player.
it's
I'm
he
excited.
had a great
exactly.
year.
Yeah,
And I
he was
think like
fantastic
the
last
floor
year.
is high with the defense and the base running.
he's the Cabrian Hayes good outcome. he's the good outcome of Cabrian Hayes, like straight up.
He's what I wanted Alberto Mondesi to be.
Wow.
Bates.
That guy keeps getting brought up in my life, man.
That's all to say, like, especially you think about the construction of this Royals roster, like, there's not room at DH, which means that Jack has to play right field. Already, that's bad. The center fielder is Kyle Isbell, who fine center fielder, can't hit, and
decent OOTP acquisition. The most decent OOTP acquisition.
Yeah, I think
of all
Kyle
time.
Isbell is a great fourth outfielder.
Yes, he is a mint OOTP acquisition to be.
Yeah, like if you had him as your backup center fielder, you're like,
yep,
yeah, that's great.
You're flying.
Slot him right into that roster spot. I'm happy.
I don't even remember who the Royals would be running out. Is it like in left field?
Didn't they just make a trade
No.
for an outfielder or sign somebody? Was it Lane Thomas? They just signed Lane Thomas, I believe.
They did just sign.
Or no,
Thomas.
they traded for Isaac Collins.
They also traded for Isaac Collins. I did not see this.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Oh, how do I feel about this?
You guys got Isaac Collins and Nick Mears for a lefty guy that I think
Angel
the Brewers are
Zerpa.
going to turn into a demon.
Angel Zerpa.
Angel Zerpa.
Oh, man, I don't want to watch him play for the Brewers.
Neither do I.
No.
All I remember of Angel Zerpa is being the guy who gave up Jason Dominguez's first right-handed hit this entire season. And it was like April 20th. I was there for it. I was in person watching. And Jason Dominguez can't hit right-handed. It was his first hit, and it was April 20th.
But yeah.
So there's not a lot of room in the Royals lineup, especially considering the addition of Isaac Collins, which I hadn't been aware of. But I feel like still you want a guy that can like fit into that, because right now, as I see the roster, Kyle Isbell, good center fielder. He's also like kind of the only center fielder. I mean, like your outfield depth options are not better fielders or guaranteed better hitters than him. So it's like if you want anything, you want a center fielder that's going to have more impact than that. And that's not the profile of like a Brendan Donovan. Also, right now,
he would play second base and take Michael Massey's spot, but like,
they also have
send Jonathan India to Japan.
Jonathan India is also not good.
Roster Resource right now has him listed as the Royals at DH. By the way,
that'll be Carter Jensen. Carter Jensen is going to.
No, that'll be Sal Perez and Carter Jensen's going to.
Salvi's knees are cooked.
I would say DH Salvi, catch Carter Jensen. Yeah, that actually adds up. I see that, man.
And that's my other thing with this team. Like, obviously, offense was not.
You got to find a way to get jacked at DH, man.
Right, and that's what I'm like.
Salvi,
it's
just Salvi ends up retiring at some point. Like that's the way Jack gets to DH.
Yeah. Obviously, offense was not like the strongest suit of this roster last year, but I feel like there's only so much that they can do. Like, I don't know. Still, the bottom half of the lineup is not really there in the way that you want it to be. But like, if the guys who can hit do hit, I think the Royals' offense will be fine. And so, we established Bubic probably isn't pitching, but like, I don't think you want to trade out of pitching depth to get another guy who's going to be like a solid offensive.
Well, Rudy, we have to make room for Daniel Lynch in the rotation this year.
Yeah. But like, at a certain point, like, Noah Cameron took a big step last year, but also from, 2 years ago when it was one of the better rotations in all of baseball, like, you're still counting on Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo to be doing that now in their age 35 and 36 seasons. Like at some point, you can't rely on the other pitching pieces to be good enough that you can afford to give up Bubic. And of course, if he's hurt for the year, that's a different story. But same thing with Cole Reagans. Like he's shown that he can be really great, but also now it's like we don't know for sure that that's consistent because
literally half of his professional career he's been in Tommy John.
Right.
Like literally half.
Yeah.
3 out of the 6 years of his career, he's had Tommy John.
So yeah, there's not enough there, I think, for me to be comfortable with giving up more pitching than they already have.
Well, and also just like there's I don't know. It also just comes back to like the Sonny Gray trade where it was just like, yeah, you know what? We're not winning, and if we can find a way to not pay $35 million for this dude and get some prospects, yeah, I'd be interested in that. The Contreras trade, it was like, yeah, now Alec Burleson, who really came through this year and like developed well, like feel free to pull up his fan graphs right now. Everyone can do that. Like the dude played very well. And
he probably would have been worth at least like half a win more if he wasn't being forced to play left field.
Yeah, and to be
really
clear,
poorly.
Yeah, and what I will say though is if you look at the outfield though, he made some big strides in right field and left field to be like it's not wonderful.
Yeah, like, it's not Adam Dunn, but it's like
no,
it's very clearly a guy who isn't meant to be out there, but
correct,
he's passable.
Yeah, and the fact that he played 50 games at first and 50 games in left and 50 games in right or whatever, like I don't know, I'm excited for him, and I think a full year at first. I think he's going to hit. I also think he's going to hit for more power having a full year at first. But yeah, we needed to open up first base and DH because Burleson and Ivan Herrera have cemented themselves, I think, long term in the Cardinals' plans. So you need to have that first base DH, and then they're going to have Herrera catch again. He just had those injuries, but I just think with Donovan, it's
you're going to like. Pages is good enough to get playing time, so Herrera can DH sometimes. Like
Pedro Pages is like the 7th best catcher we have in our organization. It's disgusting what we're producing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Jimmy Crooks, Leonardo Bernal, Raynel Rodriguez, Ivan Herrera.
Yeah, I've heard so much about Raynel Rodriguez.
Oh, dude, yeah. Dude, watch him swing a bat. Oh, it's filthy. He's got light tower. The biggest. This is where Carson gets on his Cardinals soapbox. I think our farm system is a little underrated right now. I think Heim has done a wonderful job improving the pitching depth. I think the only area we're really short on is impact power. I think we're good on impact. I think we have impact bats that are going to come in the lineup. But outside of Raynel, we've got a lot of guys where I'm like Joshua Baez, Herrera, where you're like, these guys are going to be good hitters. They can hit home runs, but they're not boppers.
Yeah, they're never going to be a 30 home run guy.
But yeah, they're going to be a 19 to 24 home run guy, which is good.
I mean, that was your whole team last year.
Correct.
Wilson Contreras had the most homers on the team with 21.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had like 5 guys within 3 of him.
Correct. Which that's good to have. That's a good.
Yeah, but you want 2 guys with 32.
Correct. You need that next step. And I'll be honest, I think Herrera can get there.
If he can stay healthy for the whole season,
I think he could get to 30, or at least he could be a 25 plus guy consistently.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think the farm system right now is in a really good spot. I think it's a little underrated. I think it's a little underrated right now. There's just a lot of guys that I think are going to be major league quality players, and that's what the next couple of years is going to be figuring out. But all of that to say, we have a guy with 3 years of control at third base that we can just play at third base. And I want to play that guy at third base. Someone has to hit leadoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, someone has to hit leadoff. And he's cheap and plays good defense and is a good leadoff hitter. Yeah. So speaking of guys with very good 2025 seasons and got rewarded for it, Josh Naylor to the Mariners, 5 years, or back to the Mariners, one might say. 5 years, 92 and a half. There's a lot of smoke about the Pirates making a – Rudy, did you see what the alleged Pirates offer was for Josh Naylor?
No.
The alleged Pirates offer was 4 for 80, and he signed for 5 for 92 with the Mariners. So I would say that's actually a quality second-place finish for the Pirates in free agency for that offer.
Yeah,
I love this for Seattle.
They offered Schwarber 4 for 120.
4 for 120 for Schwarber as well. So not too shabby.
The Pirates intend to fold after 2029. They won't offer anybody the.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Naylor to Seattle. I think that their clubhouse needed a guy like that. I think that he's good for their clubhouse. I think their lineup is in a really good spot. They're a fun baseball team, and I'm excited for them in 2026. I think this was the right move.
Yeah.
They did not do Rudy, smartest guy in the room syndrome. They said, we like Josh Naylor, and Josh Naylor likes us.
And we're going to go out and get him early.
Yes.
And to
that
be
was
fair,
great.
it's still Dipoto running the show up there, right?
Yes.
He hasn't exactly been like smartest guy in the room. I'm going to hold my cards.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jared
goal is to win 57.
Let's go gambling. Let's go gambling.
No gambling.
Our goal is to win 53% of our games.
I can't stop almost making the playoffs.
I can't stop going 86 and 76. I can't stop going 86 and 76.
Our goal is to win 53% of our games.
54. Let's get that correct. Come on now.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. I mean, yeah, good effort from the Pirates. I also understand Naylor taking the 5th year. I mean, the question there is basically, do you think you can get $12.5 million?
They're not
and
good
it's
yet.
the Pirates, yeah. To stay on the team you were already on to end last season, to not play on the Pirates, and do you think that you're going to make $12.5 million go hitting free agency after those 4 years?
At like 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he also has a profile that like may not age gracefully as well. But I mean, he's 28 right now. So like, I think it's smart for the Mariners. He's going to get his money now. But yeah, I like this move. Sometimes it's just a guy likes a spot. The spot likes him. He will not steal 30 bases next year. That's a preposterous thing he did this year. Hilarious. That will not happen again. But good for him. We've got a couple of qualifying offers we're going to talk about next. Gleyber back to Detroit. This feels like about what he would have gotten roughly anyway, if I'm being honest. So
I think he could have gotten probably like a
2 for 25.
I think he could have gotten a lot more than that. I think he could have gotten like 2 for like 36.
I mean, we're still.
I think the reason
we're still with both of these deals in the like 15 to 22 million range for like a solid.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I think he could have gotten a second year had he not received a qualifying offer. The reason he was basically forced to accept the qualifying offer because if he turned it down and was in free agency with the qualifying offer, he probably would have gotten that like 3 for 30 or like 2 for 24. Like he would have gotten like an extra year, but like way lower AAV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like,
I'm again, this is kind of a
pick
theme
for
we're going to talk
22,
about the Tigers
going
another
in.
couple of times here because they've made a couple other moves that I'm a fan of, but I don't like. You gotta extend Scoobs, man. You just gotta extend Scoobs, and all of this goes away. They can do nothing next offseason. They probably won't because there's going to be a lockout. I would simply lock down my ace and be like, you know what? I think we're good. I don't know, man. They got to go. They got to go. They got to get him. They got to extend him.
Yeah.
They got to bring everybody back. They got to extend Scooble, see how far they go in the playoffs this year. They added Kenley Jansen. They added Kyle Finnegan back. I like the moves. I think Hinch is a really good manager. But you got to keep Scoobs.
I think they need like a third starting pitcher who doesn't suck.
They do. His name is Troy Melton, dude. He's really good.
Sure.
Hey, he started game 3 of the DS, bro. He's a good – I'm really in on Melton.
Exactly my point. They need a third starting pitcher who doesn't suck.
I don't think he sucks. That's what I'm saying. I'm in on him. I mean, the guy gave him – it was –
Although maybe Job is back.
Yeah, true. I mean, here's the thing. Like, from a stuff plus standpoint from Melton, he throws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He throws 6 pitches that all have a stuff plus rating of at least 103. The only offering he has from a stuff plus perspective that's below average is his slider, but that's a 105 when the average is a 107. So he's got a kitchen sink. He throws all of it well. I don't know. I'm really in on it on Melton developing, but yeah, I mean, Scooble, Flaherty, Mize, Olsen. They should have been in on like Cody Ponce. That would have been a great move for them. A guy like Cody Ponce would have been perfect.
Or who's the other one? The one who's coming from Japan instead of Korea.
Foster
Griffin. Yeah.
He got 1 for 5.5 though. That's a little like.
Yeah, but I think he would have been a good fit for the Tigers. Like I think if they gave him like 1 for 7, I think it would have been a good fit for their roster.
They probably could have gotten him for 5.5 if that's what the Nats got him for.
You think 5.5 is a risky deal? I feel like you can give
not risky. I just mean like a quality of player, not the money. They have playoff aspirations. Like the Nationals can give him $5.5 million because if he sucks, oh well, it's the Nats, and if he's good, great. We have a great trade chip because he's on 1 for 5.5. I just meant like Ponce makes sense to me because like Ponce is described as like Fetty plus, at like better than what Eric Fetty was when he first came over, and Fetty had like 3 very good years before he was bad. So like. Yeah. That to me would have made more sense of like you're trying to make the playoffs. Like Ponce, like theoretically, if he didn't sign with the Jays, would be like maybe a playoff starter for some teams that would be making the playoffs.
He might be a playoff starter for the Jays.
Still. I was gonna say their folk hero last year was Díaz, so the door's still open.
I don't know about the Jays rotation.
I'm sorry. Team that got demolished by them in the playoffs must have.
No, I think they have good pitchers. I don't trust health.
You don't trust who?
Health. I don't trust Bieber to stay healthy.
That's why they just went out and got Cody Pont. Barrios is like the long man right now. Like,
yeah, I think Barrios sucks balls.
Well, he's not sniffing the playoffs, so I think he's going to be. I
think Gausman is old and
does not matter.
Bieber is incredibly injury prone.
We can't do this with Gausman. We can't do this with Gausman because like
Gausman I think is still good, but he had a noticeable drop off in velocity this year. And it came back at the very end of the year because he turned it back on, but I don't know how much he has left in the tank to do that. I
mean, he threw okay, I'm going to give you his fastball velocity the last 5 seasons, okay? His average 4-seam fastball velocity in the last 5 years, all right? This is Gausman. It is 94.7, 94.9, 94.6, 94.0, 94.5. It's fine.
But it was like 93 for the first like 4 months of the year.
Yeah, he does that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer he can do that. He's like 36.
He's a sprightly 34. Respect him.
Okay, and
my point is that like we can't do this when it's a guy that like just simply churns out innings every single year, and the velo's the same. His entire Toronto tenure, his velo has been within 0.9. So after 2024, it's the lowest it had been in his career since 2018. And he talked about how as he's gotten older, the thing with him is that he sheds weight more throughout the season. And so he went into this year way heavier than normal, or like that he had been used to. And so that really helped him by the end of the season for the October push and everything, and to help the velo bump pitch at a weight that he was most comfortable at. So
that's fair.
It's easy to look at like, oh, at the start of the year. Yes, but there is some like legit, I think, health science behind it where he intentionally put on way more weight than normal. He was working through that, and he intentionally game manages like that because it's like, I want to make sure I'm at my best at the end of the year. So knowing that he can do that with himself from a body health standpoint makes me more confident that it's not like a Luis Castillo thing where it's just like, oh, yep, I just take 6 months to warm up my fastball. I think it's a little bit different with a guy like Gausman, where there's some another layer of intentionality.
Yeah, that's
also
fair.
At least from a broad strokes perspective, not only his results, but pretty much all of his underlyings are better last year than the year prior. So I don't think there's a clear trajectory that he's regressing right now.
I just think he's at the age plateau. Like he is at like
I think
the age plateau where people start to age like significantly more.
I think we can look at that with the strikeouts dropping off. But here's the other thing too. Like I always bring this up with like a Garrett Cole, right? And Garrett Cole's obviously on another level to Gausman, but like this is what all-time greats do. This is what the greats of a generation do pitching wise, where they reinvent themselves as they get older.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that he's reinvented himself where, like you said, Rudy, the underlying metrics for 2024 were not good. He put on way more weight, bumped the fastball velo up. The Ks were up. The strand rate didn't take like a huge spike. He gave up more home runs even, but the underlyings got way better because I think he learned how to pitch at his current form. And I'm kind of excited to see what that looks like again.
I want to point out, like, the two guys in the Jays rotation who I don't have absolute faith in that I think a lot of people are putting faith in. Not even Gosman. It's Bieber because of the health stuff. I think Bieber's health is one of the reasons why they signed Cease to the deal they did, because they want that extra.
Can I counter and say that's why they signed Cody Ponce?
Sure.
I think that's why they signed Cody Ponce.
I also think, like, people are looking at Trey Savage as this, like, sure thing, and you can't do that.
Cody
Ian Anderson
Cody Ponce, I think, provides insurance for both those guys you just talked about. Though.
I think that's very fair to say. But I think, like, people are looking at Savage as if he's, like, basically guaranteed to put up this, like, 3 ERA with, like, 160 innings. And it's like, this guy has an incredibly crazy arm angle that some people, like, at some point, people are going to get used to seeing him. And at some point, he's going to need another pitch. And there's nothing to say he can't develop that pitch this winter. There's nothing to say that he can't improve upon his pitches that he already has. But it's hard to be four-seam splitter and, like, kind of slider. But his slider is, like, a kind of forget about it pitch, like 90% of the time. It's hard to be a 2.5 pitch pitcher as a starter for more than a year.
Yeah, I mean, but, like, this is why we play the game.
Yeah, I just think, like,
this is why we watch baseball, man. To see what Savage is going to give us.
Yeah, I think a lot of his success last year was being weird, and I don't think you can fully rely on being weird forever. I think you will get figured out in the current MLB where we have the hit tracks and all these, like, simulations where hitters can see your release point. Like, if Tim Lincecum is a guy who survived off of being weird in the early 2010s, and he also had incredible stuff and was really, really, really good for a few years before he got hurt. And I
think the Jays are very willing to take the Tim Lincecum outcome, though. Like,
and I will say,
but I think if Tim Lincecum came up
in my top prospect wins back-to-back Cy Youngs, God forbid that happens.
That's not what I'm saying.
It also gets us multiple World Series rings. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Can I finish my fucking thought? Holy shit. We have so much fucking technology that you can't do that anymore. If Tim Lincecum came up in 2022, he would have sucked for a year. He would have sucked for 2 years. And I don't think maybe not suck, but he wouldn't have been as good because a lot of his success was based off of being weird. You can't be weird in 2025 as your primary, like, factor.
I don't know. Like Tyler Rogers. Like, not to just, like, name like a I don't let me collect my thoughts on this rebuttal momentarily.
Yeah, but Tyler Rogers makes the ball move in a way that nobody else in baseball does.
I think Savage does too, though.
Is that not being weird? Like,
that's being weird.
That and how Savage is weird.
I also just
Savage is weird because of a presentation standpoint, and his four seam has.
Tyler Rogers is?
Yeah.
No, Tyler Rogers has a visible change on the ball's trajectory that is different from everybody else in baseball.
Okay, so basically, with Savage, the argument is the ball moves the same, but it's coming out, like, looking different. So
I also think starter versus reliever sample size is
that's a fair point to what. Yeah.
Well, okay. I have Carson. I'll wait until you've given your.
No,
sort of
go ahead.
take
You
on
go ahead. Go
this.
ahead, Rudy. Yeah.
I have like a broader strokes take on the Blue Jays that I think is more appropriate to wrap up this conversation with.
Gotcha. Okay. My thing with also, like, I'm gonna push back on this. I want to say it's Rates and Barrels talks about this, where Savage does have unique impact on the ball. Where and forgive my ignorance because I would need to like dig back up when I was listening to them talk about it, but he does have unique presentation on the ball that is it's not just unique presentation. He has unique effect on the ball where when he throws, it might be his. Is it his? Gosh. It depends on like what we're classifying his pitches as.
It's the slider.
His
the slider. His slider moves backwards. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, that is unique enough. We're like, you're gonna get away with that. Do you know what?
Yeah, but he doesn't have. He does. That's what I'm saying is he doesn't have any command of that pitch, and he doesn't throw it.
So this is the point that we're at of the station we're gonna arrive at, where I think it is incredibly valuable that he is on the same pitching staff as Kevin Gausman, where Kevin Gausman has one pitch that is so unique and it is funky. Kevin Gausman's delivery and presentation is also funky. I think it is very beneficial to have Gausman and Savage in the same room and on the same bus and on the same plane, blah, 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 because that is, I think, the ticket for Savage to unlocking that is that supreme command, because that's what made Kevin Gausman is I have insane command on a pitch that no one else can throw. And even though my other two pitches are objectively league average, get me over pitches, I still get outs with them because you're scared of this one thing that I have that you don't have an answer for. And I think Savage is it can operate in that same,
I think that's fair.
Occupy that same space.
That's kind of what I'm saying though, is Savage either needs something. He needs to improve or develop something that gives him another factor. He either needs to improve his command or he needs to make that slider an actual pitch in his repertoire that he throws more than 3% of the time.
Yeah, and
if he throws that 10% of the time, it becomes a real weapon, and I am confident in saying he will have a much more solid standing.
I push back that he needs to cut it down at 10%. Gausman throws his splitter 40% of the time.
No, I'm saying his slider. He already has fastball splitter.
Drew's saying bring the slider up from 3 to 10%.
His slider is never going to be.
It's got to be good enough.
Yeah,
it's got to be good enough.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, incredibly small sample size, but in his major league starts in the regular season, the split was 45-30-25 for fastball, slider, splitter.
For Savage?
Yes.
That's not what it was in the minors.
It's not what it was in the minors, but that's what it was in the majors, which I find interesting. And he still generated 35% whiff. Granted, restarts, but
yeah.
Huge.
We're playing in the weeds of very small sample size, and I get your concerns of he does have to develop, but
yeah, and also in the game against the Yankees in the DS, he also threw 3 sliders. It was all fastballs.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it just for me, I trust that he will develop it because he developed incredibly well in the minors with the Blue Jays system, so clearly they know what they have
I don't think he's a sure thing for next year. I think he's going to be a very good pitcher, and I think he has all the tools to become an all-star, very, very good pitcher. I don't know if it's a sure thing for next year.
He needs to be good enough to get to the playoffs, and I think they're going to do that, though. Right. That's kind of where I settle with that.
Here's my broad strokes take.
Yeah.
Is I was thinking this about Gausman in particular, but I think at this point now that we've talked about 6 different guys and how they can impact, and the Blue Jays from a starting pitching long reliever perspective, kind of down from the C's Gausman level down to Jose Barrios. And my point is basically that the Blue Jays have the opposite of what we were discussing earlier with the Orioles. There's enough there that no single guy has to be the guy in order to make things work. And so I think that they it's not a diffusion of responsibility thing where none of them, they can afford for none of them to be good. But I think that in general, Gausman doesn't have to be the best Gausman he's ever been. Savage doesn't have to take the step forward to be the lights out pitcher he was in the playoffs. The AL East is a gauntlet, and the Blue Jays are going to have to be a really good team to obviously get as far as they did this year. But I don't think that the burden of that falls on any one of the pitchers. I think that they all will do, a part in making that happen. And they have, starting pitcher depth that most of the league envies at this point. So
that's fair.
Correct. Oh no, we only got 130 innings of Shane Bieber. Or no, we only got 100 innings of Bieber. You're going to be able to eat that. You're going to be able to eat that the way a lot of other teams can.
Yeah. There are definitely conceivable scenarios where the wheels fall off this thing a little bit, but I don't think that means that they're sitting in a bad place right now. I think that's still hypotheticals.
Speaking of teams that are sitting in a bad place, hopefully, God willing, Brandon Woodruff took the qualifying offer from the Milwaukee Brewers.
I thought you were gonna make a dig at the Yankees.
No,
I thought the Cubs were about to get.
No.
Both of us felt the hater.
I'm picking
the
the
hater coming
team.
out.
I'm picking the team we can all pray on their downfall for this Christmas. Okay.
I don't even care.
You don't like the QO for Brandon Woodruff?
Oh, I love it. I love the QO for Brandon Woodruff.
You think it's going to go badly for them?
I don't care. It's not about it going badly. It means they couldn't spend any money, Rudy. It removed their ability to buy anything because they didn't think he would say yes. I have so much love in my heart for Brandon. First of all, I'm very happy for Brandon Woodruff. We have a TikTok where I've already said this. For him to go through the surgery he did and to come back and to be good and be completely different as a pitcher. He had to completely reinvent who he was as a starter and was good. Awesome, man. That was incredible. I root for him. I know he's gone through a ton of injuries. Seems like a great dude. Brandon Woodruff, I hope you have a very healthy, prosperous. I hope you earn every cent of that $22 million. Good sir. I was quite happy about
not anyone else on your team. Anyway.
Quite happy about this for Brandon Woodruff. Quite happy as someone that roots for the Brewers to fail. Because they might have to trade Freddie Peralta. Trade Freddie Peralta.
Whoa.
Release the files. They had to trade Freddie Peralta. They might have to trade him.
Behind all the Blackbirds.
And he makes $8 million.
Yeah.
Oh, that's poverty. That is poverty.
Rudy, the reason they traded Isaac Collins and made that deal where Nick Mears and Isaac Collins is so they could save money. I guarantee it. They probably like Zerpa, but they gave up two guys on major league deals for one guy on a major league deal so they could save money.
You're down bad to be trading with the Royals so that you can save money.
Yes, it's bad. Things are bad there.
No way they trade Freddie Peralta.
Rudy, those are the rumors, is that they were shocked and appalled that Brandon Woodruff took the QO and it hamstrung them financially so bad they're considering trading Freddie Peralta.
And they can't trade Brandon Woodruff?
No, because he pitched 60 innings last year and makes $22 million.
Okay, but if
I
you
think he'll end up getting traded at the deadline unless the Brewers are really good again.
If you had to pick any contract in baseball to have on your team, Freddie Peralta is easily in the top 10.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta's in the top 10 for sure. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Mind-boggling.
I just they can afford that.
Correct.
Surely
They can afford it. They can. They absolutely can. But,
oh, that's so poverty. Oh
correct.
My gosh.
I know. I refuse to predict it anymore, but there will be a time before I'm on my deathbed that they will lose 100 games and I will I don't know what I'm going to do, something I can't say on camera, but I will be doing something joyous to celebrate when that glorious day arrives. Peyton, don't put any of that on TikTok because I'm not letting fucking Brewers fans clip that shit when my team wins 78 games next year. All right, don't fucking put that on.
Something to do with the 19-year-old the Cardinals got for Wilson Contreras.
What's his name again? That guy's got a great name.
Yoiker Fajardo.
Yeah, Yoiker Fajardo, dude. I'm having a good time.
Carson will be yoikering his Fajardo.
All right. I'm really excited for Fajardo. Actually, it's always nice when Rudy. You know who's actually weirdly really in on a bunch of dudes on Pirates Twitter were like, man, I really wanted this guy, this prospect, this Red Sox prospect.
They
I
wanted
saw
Joey
multiple
Grisham.
dudes on Pirates like prospect Twitter being like, man, I was really hoping that we were going to work out a deal in the off, like the Mitch Keller, like he was one of like the Mitch Keller targets. I was like, oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Another qualifying offer time. It's Trent Grisham. We've talked about him already. So we'll keep this brief. Good. It's a good move.
Yeah.
And I think he's offered this and that he said yes.
Yeah. The thing that gets me about Grisham, I think he's more likely to improve than get worse on defense next year, because he had a significant hamstring injury that really like crushed him for a couple weeks that he didn't go on the IL for and just played through. But he very clearly couldn't run for like 2 to 3 weeks. And then the All-Star break hit and he like was significantly better after that. And this is a guy who has been a positive defender in center field his entire career up until this point, and he's 28. Like, I think he's much more likely to be an average to slightly above average center fielder than he is to be a negative center fielder next year. And I think the defensive fall off between 2024 and 2025 is vastly over talked about. And I think Trent Grisham had the underlying metrics to match his 125 WRC plus and 34 home runs and 3 WAR. Like,
oh wow, I was not up to speed on.
He had a really good 2025.
You're paying that guy for a 1 year and $22 million contract. You're in a good spot. Like, he doesn't like, you're the Yankees. You can't let that, like, that can't be the last thing you do this winter. The Yankees very clearly need more. But Trent Grisham opens up a lot of other stuff and locks down kind of the like easiest part of your offseason very early, where it's like, if he says no to the qualifying offer, you have more money to work with, but you also need to make more moves. And there are very few guys on the market who are as good as Trent Grisham who are making that little money. Like, Luis Robert is making $20 million and is not as good as Trent Grisham and is more injury prone.
Luis Robert is 100,000% the most fascinating man to be traded.
Oh yeah, I think he's a change of scenery target, and I was interested in the Yankees playing Grisham in left and trading for Robert for a little bit. I thought that would have been a fun acquisition.
It still can be done. Robert should.
I doubt it will happen, but I thought it would have been really interesting.
Speaking of a move I was befuddled by, perplexed by, look at these transitions I'm pulling off. Ha-seong Kim to the Braves, 1 for 20, I thought was steep. I thought that was quite steep.
Once again, another example.
Wait, let me look again at their roster, because they're doing some interesting cooking over there in Atlanta.
Players who are average to above average are really expensive in the 2025 market.
I mean, 20 mil for a guy that, like, when's the last time he's been, like, always
23.
Like 23, right? Like,
yeah. He put up like 4 WAR in 23.
Wait, he was a waiver. Oh, he was already there.
The Rays.
Yeah, Tampa.
He got waived by the Rays
him because Tampa
and then the Braves picked him up.
Also cheap.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, 20 million for that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I guess they saw enough during the half season where he was there to encourage them that he'll be fully healthy for this season, and they think he can put up good numbers. So I guess the 20 million is a show of their confidence in him, but it's still a lot of money.
Well, and I mean, it's presuming he can do anything offensively, which I guess actually, yeah, wow. I didn't realize that even his best seasons in San Diego were like an average hitter, basically.
Yeah, he was Tommy Edman.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like Tommy Edman and Ha-seong Kim are like the same player.
But even still, like, I don't know, last year they were running out Nick Allen. So.
Oh, yeah. The Braves had a massive hole at shortstop. Like, nothing can be said other than that. But
But 20 million to fill that's a lot.
It's a lot. I think it's the less overpaid of their two free agent contracts, though.
You think that's less of an overpay than Yastrzemski?
Yes.
Wow.
I disagree on that.
They're paying Yastrzemski less, and he was better.
Yeah, but
Yaz is making what, 12 mil to be worth 2 more? Yep, deal.
Yeah, but it's 2 years. They gave him an extra year.
Yeah, here's the thing.
12 mil. I mean, we keep talking about how expensive a league average player is.
Here's the thing with Yaz, though. Every season of Mike Yastrzemski's career by WAR: 2.5, 1.9, 2.1, 1.5, 1.7, 1.7, 2.4. For the money, I know exactly what I'm getting.
I guess. Like I'm not saying.
And I'll tell you what. Also,
I think it's a steep contract for a guy who's a strong side platoon.
I tell you what. Also, though, I know Royals fans were also sad to see him go because I mean,
he was great in the second half after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like we talked about, the Royals need outfield help, so obviously it's situational there. But the Braves did too. I mean, the Jared Kelenic Atlanta revival did not work, to put it lightly.
If you're still in line to vote for Jared Kelenic, stay in line. If you're still in line to vote for Jared Kelenic, here's how Jared Kelenic can be a 5-WAR player if Mike Pence has the courage.
Please, bro, just one more second chance.
Please, just one more. Just let me punch one more cooler, please. From the Bronx to Queens, Devin Williams, 3 for 51. I like this for the Mets.
3 for 45.
It's 51. I'm looking at it on Roster Resource.
I'm like 9. I swear to God, it's 45.
I have 20/20 vision. I see 3 for 51 right here. Total salary, AAV might be 15 a year.
AAV is 15. Total mil is
total deal is 3 for 51.
Oh, okay. It's.
But I mean, even still,
it's
like
5
the value
million
of the contract, and like that the AAV hit is lower.
Yes.
Yeah, 5 million is deferred, and there's a 6 million signing bonus.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Devin Williams. I think that
I will miss him.
Well.
Gosh, he already has 6 years of service time. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's 30, man. He came up at 24. Yeah. He came up at 24. It's so nice to be able to root for someone from St. Louis and not be tremendously to not have to sip tremendous haterade about him. I'm quite excited for him to be on the Mets. I think he'll do well.
You weren't excited for him to be on the Yankees?
What'd you say now?
You weren't excited for him to be on the Yankees?
Not in the slightest. I was happy he was off the Brewers. There was marginal improvement. I'd say it's marginal improvement. But, he's sort of come out the better side, a better man for it. So
that's
I'm excited for him. I think he deserves to go somewhere. We'll have a bit of a fresh start. The pressure is going to be a little high on him, I think, because he is replacing Díaz like we talked about. But
if he has I think I was definitely part of the minority of the Yankees fan base, in my opinion, of Devin Williams, where I was all in on trying to re-sign him, and I thought the odds of Devin Williams bouncing back next year are 95%, and it's Devin Williams, the chance of him putting up a sub-2 ERA is much higher than him putting up of over 4 ERA, and I am sad to see him go, but I think the Mets getting him to replace Edwin Díaz is a very high bar, and if he fails to live up to it, the fan base's reaction is going to be severe.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. Part of it's also just I think he'll be able to handle it. I mean, he
handled struggling to start his tenure with the Yankees very admirably, and he put together.
There also, I will say, I think that Yankees bullpen got a little too many cooks at the deadline. They went out and got multiple guys that thrive best being just a straight up closer. And I think that kind of can mess with your head a little bit. Closers are like kickers. You need to take care of them. And I think they kind of were just when you were 24, you were cool being the 8th inning guy, right? And he was well, yeah. when I was 24, not my walk year. So
and he was behind Josh Hader.
Correct. Yeah. I think there is
being the 8th inning guy behind the consensus best closer in the league is not
he was,
in 2017, 2018. Yeah.
I would never admit that on camera out loud. So,
Braves hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow.